Welcome and thank you for standing by. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode until the question and answer session of today's conference. At that time, you may press star one on your phone to ask a question. I would like to inform all parties that today's conference is being recorded. If you have any objections, you may disconnect at this time. I would now like to turn the conference over to Ms. Lakeisha Frazier, Branch Chief for the Community Affairs section. Thank you. You may begin.
Hello and welcome to the MoneySmart for Small Business Town Hall webinar. I am Lakeisha Frazier, Chief of Community Affairs in the Division of Depositor and Consumer Protection at the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, FDIC. I am responsible for leading a team of community affairs staff in the headquarters office in Washington, D.C., as well as staff in the regional and field offices throughout the country. Joining us today is John, also known as Jack Pinko from SBA, the United States Small Business Administration, and Diana Stefani from FDIC Community Affairs. Also joining us later in the program is Charlotte Roundtree from the Community Affairs team. The Community Affairs group is located throughout the country and is available to network with you, specifically financial institutions, community organizations, as well as national and local nonprofits. We provide a range of technical assistance and financial and economic inclusion resources. Our goal is to reach people who are unbanked and underbanked through our networks like this one, targeted resources, and outreach events and activities. We plan and host webinars, roundtables, and other meetings to identify collaborative opportunities for economic inclusion and community development initiatives. We thank you for taking the time to learn how to use MoneySmart for small business, and we encourage you to reach out to us if you need help developing your program. This town hall is intended for intermediary organizations such as financial institutions and nonprofits who are working with entrepreneurs and small businesses. MoneySmart for Small Business, or as we also say, MSSB, is a product co-branded with SBA. As I mentioned earlier, we are privileged to have you joining us today. The Deputy for SBA's Office of Entrepreneurship Education in Washington, D.C., Jack Pinko. Jack will be providing an update for the Small Business Administration later in the presentation. Our presenter today is Genevieve Sheridan from Merritt, short for MicroEnterprise Resources Initiative and Training. We will hear more about Merritt and how they are helping small businesses from Genevieve later in the program. After Genevieve's presentation, we'll open up for questions or comments. I'm going to turn it over to Diana at this time, who will provide a few reminders and explain how to use the webinar platform today. Diana.
Thank you, Lakeisha. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Diana Stefani, and I am the Acting Senior Community Affairs Specialist supporting community affairs in their small business section. I'd like to begin with slide 4 and go over 3 items, a disclaimer, a tutorial, and a few reminders. I'll start with the disclaimer. Reference to any specific organization does not constitute an endorsement, a recommendation, or a favoring by the FDIC or the United States government. Slide 5 shows our webinar platform components and how you can use them to participate in this webinar. We ask that you please use the chat and question functions to send questions. Also notice you can download the presentation by clicking on tab number 2, although you should already be able to see the slides on your screen right now. You can also communicate by using the chat feature marked with number 3 and ask questions of the panelists at any time using the tab marked number 4. If at some point you lose the slides, look for a green and blue circle icon shown as number 1 on the left side in your taskbar to open the webinar link. If you have technical difficulties with web access, please call the troubleshooting number as it's shown at the bottom of the slide, or the number is 866-900-1011. Now we'll move into our reminders on slide 6. We have a few tips and reminders on what you can find on our MoneySmart site that are listed on this slide. First, you can join the MoneySmart for Small Business Alliance on that site. You can also find recordings of prior MSSB Town Hall webinars and more MoneySmart events at fdic.gov/MoneySmart. One tip I'd like to pass on for ease of use as you try to navigate the MoneySmart page is to look for the word Teach. When you click on that, it will take you right to find MoneySmart for Small Business information. You can also download any MoneySmart for Small Business modules and the MoneySmart for Small Business Train the Trainer curriculum at any time from catalog.fdic.gov. In an effort to move through the presentation, all participants' lines have been muted, but we will be continuing to monitor your questions via the webinar platform and by email. Thank you for your attention and enjoy the presentation. Back to Lakeisha, who will introduce our first speaker.
Our first speaker today is Jack Pinko, Deputy for the Office of Entrepreneurship Education from the United States Small Business Administration. Jack.
Great. Thank you for the introduction. I'm dialing in remote from the great city of Chicago, Illinois, at a fabulous venue. If anybody hasn't had a chance to check out the Museum of Science and Industry here, it's very coincidental, as one of the items that the SBA is proud to share with all the MoneySmart participants today is the announcement, which was actually made a few weeks ago, but we want to make sure it's on the front of everybody's radar, of a $1 million competition the SBA is running to support the nation's maker spaces. The program is officially called the Makerspace Training, Collaboration, and Hiring Competition, or MATCH for short. At sba.gov/match, you can find the information, which I'll highlight on today's call, but you'll also be able to access the details, any of the FAQs or other pertinent information, whether your organization or one of your partner organizations are interested in applying for this competition. As a highlight, as I mentioned earlier, the competition has been opened over the last few weeks. Of critical importance is that the applications can be received up to July 8th. The investment from the SBA and the U.S. government is directed towards makerspaces in the total of $1 million for the following categories: for institutions or individuals, but in short, established makerspaces. Awards made up to $25,000 at the seed fund are available. The remaining two categories are second up to $100,000 for proof of principle, so existing activities but that need further development and might have the potential for scaling. The third and final is appropriately labeled scale, for existing services that have scaled either regionally or in a large community that have further opportunity to serve more customers locally or potentially on a national scale. At that final category, we will be making awards up to $200,000. So again, seed up to $25,000 to get something off the ground, proof of principle up to $100,000 to further develop an existing activity, and finally scale up to $200,000. Again, for existing makerspaces that are doing innovative programming or services related to workforce development. This is the first of its kind competition hosted by the SBA to spur workforce development as related to makerspaces in the United States. Another highlight, given the unfortunate circumstances of so many wildfires and hurricanes in the United States, is a reminder that the SBA is backing millions of dollars in disaster recovery, low-interest loans throughout the United States. Key areas such as Missouri, Iowa, California with wildfires, and ongoing financing of recovery for hurricanes Florence, Maria, and Irma. Available at sba.gov. We have generic information on the website, links to the application procedures themselves, and online tutorials for organizations or individuals that want to learn about the basics of applying for an SBA-backed disaster recovery loan. Critical importance, we want to make sure that we get people in that process in coordination with FEMA or directly with the SBA to help people recover throughout the nation. Third highlight is SBA's collaboration with the USDA, or Department of Agriculture, to support agricultural or rural communities throughout the United States. You can find information about localized training, services, or other educational efforts at SBA.gov and USDA.gov under the campaign listed Rural Strong. If you prefer to learn about the activities or promote them on social media, use hashtag Rural Strong, all one word. Again, these are services provided at extension programs, libraries, and other community hubs in rural communities throughout the United States. My last two updates relate to timing with school throughout much of the United States being let out. Our younger entrepreneurs, we want to make sure that they're not forgotten. We find usually a spike in activity related to younger students who now have a little bit more free time and they want to pursue their passion of entrepreneurship, whether that's a lemonade stand, a t-shirt company, a technology-related innovation, or elsewhere. The SBA is proud to partner with organizations such as Junior Achievement, the National Federation for Teaching Entrepreneurship, and the Hugh O'Brien Youth Organization, in addition to providing online information directly from SBA.gov, such as our popular Youth Entrepreneurship course on our Learning Center. For our young entrepreneurs who are just starting out and want to learn more about the basic tenets or draw up additional ideas of projects or enterprises they may pursue this summer. Finally, given the large number of financial institutions that are part of the MoneySmart network, we want to continue to promote and thank those financial institutions for participating in SBA's free online lending portal. It's a robust referral network at sba.gov/lendermatch. Given the rise of fintech and promotion for small businesses to access financing through simple web portals, the SBA has continued to invest in and refine our Lender Match tool. For users, it's basically a three-step process. The first step is going online at sba.gov/lendermatch, answering a few basic demographic questions that take less than 5 minutes, which will allow the tool to generate a list of SBA-affiliated lenders who will receive that information, including what type of loan somebody is interested in, and finally, a match will be made within 48 hours or 2 days back to the user, who can then look at the interest rates or other terms of loan and engage directly with an SBA-affiliated lender to receive the most advantageous government-guaranteed small business loan they may be eligible for. So thank you all for the time to highlight those previous services. Happy to provide any clarification or answers to participants, whether you choose to connect back with the MoneySmart team at FDIC, and the SBA will provide additional links or clarifications on any services. And finally, we do want to continue to thank the FDIC team for engaging SBA in the award-winning MoneySmart curricula, which is being enhanced and extended throughout the United States. Thank you all for participating on today's call, and I'll refer back to the FDIC team.
Great. Thank you, Jack. Next, I'd like to introduce Erwin Reeves. Erwin is a Community Affairs Specialist in FDIC's Community Affairs Program. As a Community Affairs Specialist located in our San Francisco office, Erwin assists in building relationships and collaborative opportunities among financial institutions in the community. Erwin will introduce our speaker today, Genevieve Sheridan. I'm going to turn it over to Erwin now.
Thank you, Lakeisha. Merritt, MicroEnterprise Resources, Initiatives and Training, is located in Salem, Oregon. They're committed to ending poverty is through building thriving, inclusive, educating, and empathy. They believe that all people have the ability to create their own prosperity. Genevieve Sheridan, their executive director, is passionate about success of emerging small businesses, regenerative agriculture, and building financial resilience in her community. She has worked in agriculture in 3 states and 2 continents, has been a small business owner, and a viticulturist. Genevieve moved her family from Morgan Hill, California, in Silicon Valley to Salem, Oregon in 2016. Her desires to help small businesses thrive in her local community led her to the IBA program manager position at Merritt, where she helped launch Merritt's Financial Empowerment Academy, their social enterprise Vision Business Services, and Crowd, a lending circle. In just over a year, Genevieve became the Financial Empowerment Program Director and ultimately becoming the Executive Director in April 2018. My introduction to Merritt and Interaction began with an email in April 2017 when seeking technical assistance for using MoneySmart for small business. When I first met Genevieve, Merritt's offices consisted of a crowded shared space, barely bigger than a large closet. Under Genevieve's leadership, Merritt is developing a location that includes training rooms, small business incubator space, including a commercial kitchen, and ultimately vendors and food trucks that will surround the main building. Please welcome Genevieve Sheridan, the Executive Director for Merritt.
Thank you, Erwin. Thank you all for having me here today, and I appreciate this opportunity to share with you what we have done here at Merritt, and my hope is that this information will help another organization that, similar to us, is in the process of trying to do a lot with very little. So, yes, Merritt is in Salem, Oregon, and we've been around since 2008. We were established by a group of other nonprofits that saw a gap in services in our community. And we've technically been around for 14 years because we started out as a program under another nonprofit before becoming a 501c3. So let's get going with the slides. Next slide, please. So this is me. I've been at Merritt for a few years now, but before coming to Merritt, I did corporate project management in agriculture. I have been bilingual my entire life, but I've been doing bilingual training since I came to Merritt, and then a little bit beforehand. I was introduced to MoneySmart for Small Business really through a Google search, and when I reached out to Erwin, he was able to give me great information about how to implement this curriculum. Next slide. Unfortunately, our new director of programs couldn't join us. He has a terrible cold, but I wanted to let everyone know that we do have a fully bilingual staff. We are a team of 5. We have always had between 4 and 5 employees total. We have some contractors and volunteers, and we're very fortunate to have a PhD candidate on our staff now, Francisco Garcia. Next slide. So our old mission, which is still on our website, is to help people explore, launch, and grow successful small businesses through training and support. Our new mission, which we are about to put on our website, but all of you get to see it first, is that within an environment of inclusion, we empower our clients' financial stability, facilitate self-advocacy for prosperity, build generational wealth, and equitable communities. We really have gone beyond small business training, and we have a new method for helping our clients as families and also looking at the whole person beyond just the business technical assistance, because everything going on in their personal lives affects how they are able to develop their business and achieve greater self-sufficiency. And as a staff, we have become involved in advocacy for our clients and also for the federal programs that help sustain not only our organization but also our clients. And we have now been around long enough to see the effects of how our training and coaching has helped to break generational poverty with some of our families. Next slide. Our programs, although we have different names for them, they are all connected to one thing, and that is the relationship that we have with our clients, where we are sitting with them one-on-one in a room where they are able to tell us exactly what they need and what their goals are. We have a Pathways program that is open to the public. Personal Finance and Define Your Business are the classes, but we provide one-on-one coaching voluntarily to anyone who comes through the Pathways program. Launchpad is where we integrated MoneySmart for Small Business. That is, we call it our business finance class. We have a Launch Your Business class, and we have a series of Grow Your Business workshops. If a client is in the Launchpad program, they are working with us for 6 to 12 months. They have filled out an application, and they usually end up working with us for 3 years. We have our Vision program, which provides bookkeeping, coaching, and technical assistance. We have a Lending Circle, which is a crowd-funded loan. So for our clients who are unable to access credit in any other way, we have built this loan product for them. We're able to report their loan payments to credit bureaus so that each payment is recorded and helps to improve their credit scores. We have an IDA program. IDAs are individual development accounts that are funded through state tax credits. It's a 3-to-1 matched savings grant, and it's an economic stimulus program that helps IDA participants build assets. The typical assets that clients pursue are home ownership, higher education, small business, a reliable vehicle to pursue employment, and there are now some other pilots. We have a retirement pilot that we are participating in. Most of our small business owners, once they finally get established, realize that they need to create their own retirement fund. MoneySmart, the Personal Finance MoneySmart, has always been recognized by the IDA program of Oregon as required training. It's required by state statutes, and it's available online or in person. And whoever is in our IDA is required to participate in everything that we provide: Pathways, Launchpad, Vision, not necessarily the Lending Circle. So the IDA program is quite robust. The minimum time that anyone can spend in the IDA is 2 years if they're working on a small business, and the majority of our clients have spent 3 to 5 years working with us on their IDAs. Next slide. The populations that Merritt serves are majority women, Latinx. We work a lot with unemployed or underemployed families, families with children, low and moderate income households. And through the pilot, our Financial Empowerment Academy that we launched in 2017, these statistics that we gathered from the clients that participated with MoneySmart for Small Business, 81% were Latinx. 55% of our clients selected Spanish as their primary language, and all of our programs are Spanish-English bilingual. 91% of everyone we served was low income, and 55% were unemployed within the last 12 months. Next slide. So we offered 16 sessions with 16 class meetings. There were English and Spanish sections, and it was an 8-week series for each group. And we found that this was just long enough to properly convey the large amount of information in the curriculum set. We had 41 participants, 35 successfully completed the program. We had 4 different class instructors who were also coaches. And we had a grant from Wells Fargo that allowed us to launch this pilot and deliver MSSB curriculum. And our grant with Wells Fargo was in partnership with NALCAB, the National Association for Latino Community Asset Builders. We have been NALCAB members for a long time, and asset building and financial education is one of the pillars of their membership. And so we have, in addition to using MSSB curriculum, worked with NALCAB to fine-tune our program more holistically. Next slide. So as a result of this pilot that we did with MoneySmart for Small Business curriculum, we were able to get 14 businesses expanded or started, 24 accounts were opened or loans made, and 23 people established and maintained savings habits for 3 months. So within the IDA program, we already know that the habit of saving money is one of the key components to financial prosperity for our clients. But we have very few openings for IDAs each year, and the funds are very limited. But the habit of savings can still be instilled outside of the IDA program, and so we found a way to do that through our Financial Empowerment Academy. We had 39 people create a budget basically on day one. We asked everybody to do that, and then we continued to work with them throughout the process. We had 11 people increase savings, and we formed several community partnerships, 7. I feel like there are more that came out of it, but we documented 7. Next slide. And the way that we told our community about this new program and our potential clients was we held monthly mixers. So where we live, it rains a lot. It can snow in the winter. And so we really took advantage of good weather, late spring through early fall, and we went to a different city or small town every month. And so you can see at the bottom of this flyer, even though we're in Salem, we traveled around to rural towns. The town of Independence has 9,000 people. The city of McMinnville still has under 35,000, and the entire county that McMinnville is in is technically rural. There's not a single community around McMinnville that has over 35,000 people. And we held these informal gatherings at places that have beer on tap because that's what Oregonians like. And some of the venues were owned by past clients, so we were helping to promote their business as well. Next slide. So the pilot Financial Empowerment Academy, once we got through the pilot, we realized that clients were truly asking us for more training for business finance. And we found a way to integrate business finance education into our existing microenterprise programs. Finance is really where a lot of our clients get stuck in launching or growing their business. And we realized we could no longer silo this financial aspect of our program. Next slide. So we took a look at the IDA program, which is all about finance. You have to quantify your personal net worth and your business balance sheet just to even apply for the IDA. And so we took a look at what worked in the IDA program, and we said, okay, we're going to do similarly to the IDA, and we're going to require that everyone take these business and personal finance classes, not just personal finance. So currently, the state statutes of Oregon only require IDA participants to take a personal finance class, even if they have a business IDA. And then we built out our vision bookkeeping program to really support the IDA clients and now really any clients who come to us in managing their books and getting ready to file their taxes. We found a way to enhance our classroom instruction that is group-based with one-on-one coaching, because the clients were telling us they really wanted the coaching. But in order to vet who we were going to coach with our limited resources, we required classroom participation to qualify for the coaching. It also helps the clients answer a lot of the questions before they got to the coach if they had gone to the class first. And then we realized that our class instructors needed more help during the classes. So not only did we bring in guest speakers, but we assigned an instructor assistant to every class to help with all the paperwork and the logistics and answering questions. So we have this teaching assistant at every single class now, which has really helped. We practice adult learning, which is facilitating discovery through personal experience, and we do not do lecture-style one-way teaching. And we continue to find better ways to do it, but it really comes down to bringing the group together in the class. They end up helping each other more than we as single instructors can ever do. Next slide. So we do allow walk-ins in our program. We have the mentality that we don't turn anyone away, and we need to start where they are in their own process. Although we have limited resources and we were trying to hold our program twice a year, we were finding we were losing a lot of people because we had no way for them to come in when they found us. We would have to tell them, we'll come back in 3 or 6 months when the next round starts. And so we redesigned the program so that the classes could be taken out of order. The whole program can be taken in any order, and people can complete pathways and Launchpad as it is offered. And as long as they complete it in 6 to 12 months, then they can participate in our graduation ceremony, which is twice a year. And this allows them to develop their skills and their business in a way that is right for them. We do only offer MoneySmart for Small Business twice a year because it's such a robust program, and we have the instructors that are good at it, and we know when they're available. All of our classes are evening and weekends because we have working families, and children are always welcome with their parents. Most of the time, these kids are actually helping to run the family business. But we have found that kids are very receptive to this curriculum. It seems complicated when you look at it, but as you're working through it and presenting it, the kids are actively doing the activities. And so I really like that about this curriculum because we have people in the room who are still in high school, and then we have people who have MBAs, and we have some parents who never completed school, and everyone is able to gain value from what is being presented. Next slide. So our schedule is we either do a weekday evening or Saturday morning. We do have people turn in an application, but it's more of an intake, and we are required to do income documentation because we receive federal funding, but we don't turn anyone away. We always serve a majority of low-income people. We're allowed to serve a percentage of higher-income people. Our classes are 3 hours each. Beyond that, most people start to glaze over. So after 8 weeks, they've received 24 hours of instruction. And we cover 10 modules. we don't do home ownership, and we had to remove some of the modules just because we realized we were trying to cram too much into the time that we had. But we gathered all the class evaluations, and we continue to do that every single time we offer a class to determine if we are doing things right and in a way that that is beneficial to our clients. Okay, next slide. So we were able to customize the curriculum, and we added CFPB flyers. So Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has a whole library of material that we added. We also incorporated some Your Money, Your Goals worksheets produced by CFPB. And we use those worksheets in our one-on-one coaching. We created a Facebook group. We have clients join that group so they can talk in between classes, and we pose questions in there. We had to train our class instructors on the curriculum. And then we invited caseworkers from all over the community to preview our program so that they would know what their clients would be receiving, those that referred clients. And we are working on future train-the-trainer efforts because these caseworkers told us that they would like to have a community of practice where they could meet with us quarterly, because the work that they're involved in is so complex and there's such a high level of coaching, and they really wanted a forum to exchange, locally what their best practices were, because all of us are working as an ecosystem, cross-referring mutual clients. And so this is something that Francisco in his new role is working on, is to expand on this ecosystem. Next slide. So to keep this sustainable, we realized we were going to need to keep clients engaged for longer than just this 8 weeks of class. And so we have a potluck on the last day. We continue the Facebook group. And then we realized we need to provide some opportunities for these clients to stay engaged, because when they reach a level of mastery that they can impart to other people who are just getting started, they can volunteer for us and also help show the newer clients hopefully some mistakes that they can avoid in their business development process. So we adopted a new database, and we're working on building out long-term follow-up strategies, because we've been around for over 10 years. We have clients who've come back in a new phase of growth or a new business, and the current staff hasn't worked with them firsthand because it was so long ago, and so we're really trying to become better at maintaining all of this institutional knowledge. We're joining the Credit Builders Alliance, and so we can pull and report credit for our clients. We had a third party do that for us, and we realized we would like to do it ourselves and be self-sufficient. Next slide. So one-on-one coaching is key. We are actively using our curriculum to help our clients improve their credit and access capital for their business, which has to really be done in a one-on-one setting. And we have adopted family-centered financial coaching, so our staff is receiving training on how to implement that. Okay, next slide. And this is some photos of our new building. So Erwin mentioned we moved to a larger facility. It's more than 10 times the space that we had before. And this is all possible thanks to a partnership that we have with the city of Salem. This was an abandoned car dealership, and prior to that it was a DMV. It's located in a historically underserved neighborhood. It's an urban renewal area, and for decades this neighborhood was represented by heavy industry, so there's quite a bit of pollution here, and low-income housing was built here in the 60s. In the 70s, a lot of it was torn down. So this neighborhood has experienced a lot of economic issues, and we're here. Our job is to assist in revitalizing this neighborhood and creating community spaces that families can enjoy and also utilize to launch and grow small businesses. Next slide. So my final words are the site visits and the vetting from Erwin Reeves helped us finalize our proposal to Wells Fargo and helped us win that funding. So that was a turning point for us, was to get outside input on what we had been thinking about for a long time, but to have someone completely outside of our organization validate some ideas and then make recommendations for others so that we could implement some best practices that we in our small world here in Salem don't have exposure to. And throughout this whole process, we realized, competitive applications for our clients are not working. We created one. We thought, yes, let's make it competitive to get in. And we realized in the end that a lot of the invisible barriers that our clients faced due to racism and socioeconomic disparities really require us to be the inclusive environment that is lacking outside of our walls throughout our region. And so we decided we're going to be a safe zone, and we are going to have people fill out an application, but it's not competitive. It's for us to gather information to help them get to the next steps that they need. And so we're still experimenting, and we're working with NALCAB. We're working with Meta in San Francisco. They're providing us as an organization with technical assistance. And I really appreciate that MoneySmart for Small Business is free. It's customizable. We have other curriculum that requires licensing fees, and most other curriculum, it's beyond our budget. We looked into developing something from scratch, and it's just not feasible. So having access to MSSB was a game changer for us. Next slide. So thank you very much. I so greatly appreciate this opportunity. And with that, I would like to hand it back to the FDIC team.
All right. Thank you very much, Genevieve. We appreciate what you're doing for the community. At this time, participants, please feel free to submit your questions for Genevieve from Merritt. Charlotte, what questions do we have at this time?
Yes, there is a question that's here for Genevieve. Can you explain how and when you teach MoneySmart for Business?
So the how of how we teach is we gather people into our building or off-site, and we present the curriculum in English and Spanish, and we allow for questions and comments throughout the presentation. And we have breakout activities, and we try to get people out of their seats. And the when is around the work schedules of our clients. So it's consistently on evenings and weekends, and we did surveys that showed us that over 60% of our clients preferred weekends because it's a little easier for them to secure childcare.
All right, thank you. Genevieve, I have another question for you. Can you please describe how you modify the MoneySmart for Small Business modules by either expanding or shortening the sessions?
So it was a group effort, and we all had to read through the curriculum and the slides and then go through them piece by piece. And it was a fine-tuning process, so it was several iterations of our team sifting through a other curriculum that we had presented to see if we were missing anything first. And then just using PowerPoint to insert a flyer or a worksheet that we felt was helpful. And it took a while. And then after the pilot was over, we looked at the curriculum again. So it's not very straightforward. We're trying to piecemeal things together and also trying to make what we were presenting culturally relevant to our Latinx clients.
Okay. Genevieve, someone's asking if you can provide a copy of your application to the program.
I guess I could. It's not very interesting. But I can say that if you're in the process of trying to develop your own intake, it should be based on your grant deliverables and what you're required to track. So what I'm tracking might not be relevant to the work that you've committed to doing, but I'd be happy to share it.
Should they go to your website to get that, or where's the best way?
The best way would be an email. The email address on the website, info@merrittnw.org.
Okay. I have one other question. Could you tell us how you measure the impact of a participant attending one of your sessions? And there's another part to this question. What happens once participants have completed the workshop?
So we are still working on that. I think it's something that most nonprofits continue to evaluate. So after the class is over, we go into one-on-one coaching. And so we ask the client what their goals are, and if it makes sense for us to meet quarterly or monthly, we would like to meet with them 4 times. Ideally, we would work with someone for an entire year, and we would meet with them quarterly, and they would establish SMART goals in the beginning, and then we would monitor those goals and be working with them consistently through that year. And so sometimes the clients take the class and for whatever reason decide that was enough for them and they move on. And so we're working on a way to have long-term follow-up because we know that some of them may come back a year or 4 years later. And we are also trying to determine if there are other things that we need to be offering, services or workshops. And so we are working on this annual survey to stay in touch with people and get their feedback. But really, at the very end of the class is the best time to get feedback.
I think that's a true statement. So we're going to go ahead. We have no other questions at this time. So I want to thank you, Genevieve. I would like to also mention that if our participants have any additional questions, please email them to the National MSSB contact listed on slide 29. Now I'm going to turn it back over to Lakeisha.
Thank you, Charlotte. I would like to again thank Genevieve for your presentation today. I'm sure that I speak for everyone when I say thank you for the information you provided today. Thank you, Jack Pinko from the Small Business Administration for your valuable partnership and information. And finally, I want to thank the participants for joining us today. I will turn it over to Diana to close us out. Diana.
Thank you, Lakeisha. Again, in closing, please use the information on this final slide to contact MoneySmart for Small Business National Point of Contact. We have also provided the link for the FDIC Community Affairs webpage. The recording of this presentation, along with the PowerPoint, will be available within 2 to 4 weeks on the FDIC MoneySmart for Small Business website. Thank you all again, and this concludes our webinar for today. Have a great day.
Thank you. That does conclude today's conference. Thank you again for your participation. You may disconnect at this time.